Hi everybody, I am so excited. I'm going to be teaching a class on altering a book. So you have to be patient with me because this is actually part one of the tutorial. And I have not done a tutorial for YouTube. Not like this. So let's hope I stay on camera. Let's hope this goes great. We shall see. We shall see. You may not be able to stand a tutorial of me. 5 or 10 minutes is long enough. Okay, this, and I will post the link to the video that shows this particular altered book. And I titled it Love with a Heart Like His, and I cut the book up, tore out the pages, and then made it into a shadow box with some of my favorite things. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous. But it is a lot of fun, and so I want to go ahead so that everyone will see how to go about starting the initial part of the altered box. Now, if you want, if you want some really great information on altering things, my friend Artidar, who also has a Ustream channel and so forth, has excellent information, and she is the true talent. Totally the true talent. So she was the one that gave me the inspiration, so you need to check her out. But I'm going to show you how I alter the book and get you started so that you can make yours into a shadow box if you like. So I'm going to show you the tools, but I wanted to show you the book. I left those pages as they are, so I really like that texture. And I loved the pattern on the book, so I left it. And then I clicked when I made this the first part of January of 2011, this year. And so I added some of my favorite things to it. So for today, I'm going to show you how to make the book. And these are the tools that you will need. So of course you'll need a book, which I have two here, and you'll see why in a second. So I've got two books, and you can decide if you want to do the outsides or whatever. And then you'll need a brush, and then you'll need some glue. And I keep mine upright. I was thrilled the other day to see Dee Dee Inkwell, I-N-K-I-W-E-L-L-L, put that on the screen. I'm nervous. She also does this. You put your glue in there and it stays to the bottom. Any type of really good glue. This is Aleene's tacky glue, which is really great. So any type of glue. You'll also need, people laugh because they say I don't say this right, check a knife. And you will need a pencil, possibly a pen if you can't see the pencil lines very well, a ruler, and then I would go ahead and get some scissors, some pretty sharp scissors. To be able to do some of the finer detail. I also have a smaller X-Acto knife that I might have to use on some smaller points, so you may want to have one of those on hand also. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, this is my book, and I'm going to show you how to, just the simple part of going ahead and gluing this together. Very, very simple. Very simple. Promise, promise, promise. I just take the Aleene's glue. Now this one's kind of tilted. Now these are thrift store books, but I'm always very, try to be very, if it's something that I know that I can pass on, I certainly do. But sometimes you just gotta art. So I'm going to just very generously put the glue on the top. Not everybody likes to put their lids back on, but I do. And then you just take the glue, and this dries clear. You do want a glue that's going to dry clear. Now, if you're going to leave the outside, you want to kind of be careful. And we're going to do that to all sides. This is probably like watching paint dry for you guys. This is very thick glue too. But, try what glues you have. Now, like I said, this is pretty thick and very secure. Now, depending on my pages, like the book I just showed you that I altered, I left the pages showing because I really love that texture. And you could actually do any book the way that book is just running a scissor down the edges. So now I'm going to do the top. And you're going to get messy. You're going to get messy. Now, if you find other ways that works better for you, please share, because I know this will not be my last altered book. But I find that this fills all the pages. Now, you may want to do a couple of coats, and especially at the back, say this part isn't, you may want to glue that a little bit also. And you can wash your brush out. Then I put something very heavy on it, or I clamp it. You can get clamps at the dollar store, but like I said, just make sure you have plenty of glue all the way around and make sure it's sealed. It may take a couple of coats. So I'm going to set this aside so that we can move on. Set my glue aside. And this book is already glued. This one is already glued shut. I left the pages. Now, when I get inside, I may have to put some glue on the inside of the cover, but it should not be a problem to do so. So this one's already glued. I really like this texture that's on this book, so I'm going to leave it. The next thing you want to do is decide, okay, how big do I want the shadow box? Do I want to leave this portion like I did on this book, and I also use the titles, or do I want to, cut it up? And so then I decide, I think with this one, I'm probably going to go all the way across. So I've got my ruler, and I decide how far I want from the top. Now, you don't want to get too close to the edge. So I'm going to use my pencil. Let me make sure that's straight. You can at least adjust it once you get. And then I decide I want probably about the same width at the bottom. You can erase the lines on the edges later. So I'm probably going to go right smack up to the edge with this. That would be a great line right there. And then over here, I'm going to come in a little bit. I am not good at eyeballing lines. I'm just, You've seen some of my drawings. Oh, that didn't draw. If you've seen some of my drawings, you will know. Woo! Pencil, please. Stop doing that. Now, I may want to come over just a little bit more to kind of balance it out. So, I think I will. Just a little more. Now, I kind of like that. I think I'll leave that there. I don't know what I'll do to the cover yet. Okay, so then I'm going to take my lines, and you have to put a little bit of weight on it. And if you don't get right on the line, don't worry about it, because you can certainly come out. Oops, see, I got a little bit off there. You can certainly come back and take care of any areas that you need to in the end. And please be careful with your hands. We don't want any bloodshed while doing this project. It helps that the books stick too. And parts of it I found on my other book is that I had to saw a little bit to get some of the corners out. I'm just going to ease in there. To make sure I got the corner. Same thing here. Then I'm going to see if I can lift that out yet. May not have gone deep enough yet. That's okay. I can see it loosening up, so we're getting there. And you might get a few pages out also. So we're just going to keep cutting. Okay? Now, I'm going to use my knife. And there comes out the cover. And you can use this for other things, so don't get rid of it. You can use it for postcards, ATCs, many things. And then I just start ripping out the inside. You may want some sandpaper toward the end. You may decide you want several different things or have it done differently. So I suggest you have a fresh blade on your X-Acto knife. And you just continue on until you get as far as you want. How the depth depends on you entirely, what you may want to put inside. You clearly don't want to go all the way through the back. Unless you're really going to put a double, if you want to do a two-sided, that's totally possible. The corners you will need to be extra patient with because they seem to be a little bit harder to cut, to make sure that they're cleaned out. Another option is you could pull the paper down and let it hang out on the edges. You could cut from here out. So there's many, kind of like a nest. There's so many different options. Just let your creativity go. There's no rules. I can tell you one thing. Probably a couple of years ago, I would not be cutting up a book. I cherish my books. We have probably about 3,000 volumes, and they're multiple copies. They're not like... they're not multiple copies, rather. We have a few that we might have two of, but it's a rarity. We obviously love to read. And I did not grow up that way. I did not grow up a reader. I was very much an outdoors, sportsy person. If you see me now, you'll be like, you play sports. I also have a hand vac. This does get a little bit messy. Keep going. And you may find you want to widen the book a little bit. You may decide that this is absolutely perfect. You can keep the inside pages and use them for art journaling or some other form. You could also shred them to use them for packaging, which is what I do with a lot of my scraps. Once I get to the point of punch, it will not work. And you may have to change your blade a few times, but I have just actually finished writing my first book, and it is posted on my, I broke a piece of that. It's posted on my website, and it's available only in ebook. I don't have any plans of printing it otherwise. You can see how the page is kind of getting packed in there. Let's see if you can see that, and then in there. So you may, and then you can also sand it. Now, someone asked me if they could use a jigsaw doing this. Probably, but I don't know that you would have more control. And I don't know if you can only go part of the way through because you don't want to go to the back side of your book. You want to leave the back portion intact. Or at least I do for this project. I may try a double-sided shadow box. That would be kind of cool. Totally cool. They probably heard me banging this. So you just keep pulling. And like I said, you may, you know, depending on what you want to do, you may want to leave a good portion. And to also probably how thick the book is and what embellishments you want to use. Kind of have in mind how you want to do the book. If you want to do it as a memorial, if you want to do it as in honor of someone, or if you want to do it with treasured items. I use things from my stash for the book I just showed you of things that I was hoarding, things I didn't want to get rid of. And I thought, you know what, I think I'll just make it and I'll set it up. That way I can see it. It'll inspire me. I will be happy. Now I can already see I'm going to need to go under this side where the pages are and glue the cover down. And that's okay. Just pop some glue into there and you're set. Now I'm not going to worry too much about the corners, but I definitely want to have the pages. I want to have the corners shredded a little bit more. One book I altered, which I have a video on, is the technical Bible, where I have my Nook and I have my iPod and my cell phone. Now, I went in and really smoothed down the edges because I wanted it to fit snug. I wanted everything to fit snug inside the book. And I even glue and painted them down, so they're very smooth. But now, this particular book, you can, but I won't be gluing the inside frame of it, except to glue this portion down. Now these would be great to use in a collage or an art journal. So many things you can do, so many things. You don't want to go through to the back of your book. Just keep that in mind. And, you know, the greatest part is that you're recycling, you're recreating, you're reusing, you're recreating, you're making something that, you know, could be used another way. Now that is, I'm probably going to glue that down. I'm going to be putting lace over it, so I don't really, not going to worry about that little mishap, because that just lets you know some things will happen. And you're welcome. You know, you take them as opportunities. Now, if you want to get the corners very, very clean, you will need to keep cutting. You will need to use patience, and you will need to use probably some sandpaper, a sand block. And I do not recommend the little dainty ones. I recommend you going to a hardware store or to a hardware department and buying a heavy-duty sunblock. This is not for your little toys, I like to call them, for paper art. It's just, this is pretty strenuous on those They're great. Those products are great. Don't get me wrong. I have a wonderful close to my heart kit for distressing. I absolutely love, but I wouldn't use the sanding block and file on this because this is very heavy duty. I'm going to go deeper. And I'm cutting at an angle at the corners because I intend to leave some of the corners. And see what kind of effect that has just to leave that there if you choose to. Now I am probably not going to go much deeper in this book. It's I got a pretty good shelf here, so probably just a few more pages and then cleaning it up. And when you get down deep, especially if it's a thick book, you may even need to, like I said earlier, some tweezers to go back. My husband watches this video. He's like, oh, I can't believe you held it that way. Oh my gosh, you could have cut your hand. But he's been around for the other books, so he'll be in shortly. He gets used to it. We have sons. Super glue works really well on a lot of cuts. I advise you not to drink and work on these projects. I have some tea close by because this will make me very dry. And I wear a mask to do this, but I'm not today because I want you to see, to be able to talk to you and see how I do this. Okay. Let's see. Get some of the stragglers out of there. Okay, that's probably all that I want to do with this. Now, this would probably be better if I had taken some more out and not left so much of a frame. But, you know, any size is perfect. And, you know, if you go and Google altered books, you get everything from art journaling to people that actually cut per page. And they're magnificent. Oh, my gosh. Talking about patience. Ah! Amazing, amazing work that they do with the pages and how they create with them. Oh, they're just a work of art all by themselves. A fun thing to do is, like, if you're an older person in your family had a treasured book and you found the original or something like that, and then you found a newer copy of it, take the newer copy and alter somewhat and give them the original book as well. I did that for my husband's grandfather, who as of today is still with us. And the grandparents are in their mid-90s. And he mentioned a book one day that he read, his first, I think it was his first book that he actually got from a teacher. And he told me the name of it, and I went and found the book and purchased it for him. And he's legally blind, but I gave him the book. It was not in print anymore, and gave it to him. And I think it was better for me than it was for him. Now, this little piece here I will glue down, and like I said, I'll probably cover up. You can decoupage that in. If you make a very bad blender, or you think it's a bad blender, use it for your opportunity. Use it as an opportunity. As my friend Paula says, a flopportunity, and work with it. Now, I'm just going to finish cleaning out some of the edges. May sand a little bit just to make it smoother. But that is what basically you do with cutting out the inside Not a big deal. See, I told you. Told you. Whoops. Now these pages are not glued on the side because I wanted to leave that roughness. Now if I can get a hold of the book. And I see a little gap right there. So I'm going to tuck that in with some glue. Ooh, actually it's coming apart as I go, so we'll glue that down. And then I'll clamp it. Oops, and put my lid on. I'm going to smooth that out. Put that glue in there on my finger. I'm going to smooth that out too because I really want my pages rough. So that will totally work. And I got glue all over me. So I'm going to clamp it, and don't worry about if you get glue and stuff on it. You're going to be working with it more later. I just took that off camera, didn't I? So sorry about that. So this is what the altar book looks like. I mean, very simple. And I'm going to simply clamp that down. Now, my suggestion is that you glue this and then put something heavy on it or clamp it overnight and let it dry, and then touch up any places needed. May reclamp it for, 30 minutes or an hour, and then start cutting and be ready to start distressing and so forth. So, got a nice little pile here. I'm going to stop here for part 1, and then we will follow up soon with part 2. So if you have any questions, please send me a note. I'm so excited. This is so much fun. So much fun. You'll find books that are water damaged, books that are, cannot be repaired, and you can recycle them. I use children's books all the time in my mini albums. They're great chipboard, and many times they're chewed on or whatever, and you can just slightly sand them down, and you are so ready to go. So, this is the beginning of fun. So, I will be back with part 2 and teaching the class, and I'll give you more information about all of that, and I will see you later. So, go. Recycle, reuse, recreate, and remember, it's rockin' awesome when you do. Ha ha! Yay! Have a great day, everyone. Bye.